Hello everyone, welcome to the channel update for February. Hope everyone's January went as well as can be expected, given things like Australia being on fire. For the channel news, main thing to talk about is Final Fantasy Adventure wrapped up and has been replaced with Dragon Quest VI, Realms of Reverie. Having a blast playing that, it's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the recording sessions every week. That to a certain extent, I'm really looking forward to the recording sessions for all the games that I'm playing right now, which is always nice to have. Not to say I don't enjoy the other games, but sometimes they are not as exciting as other things. Like it may be a case, just as an example, there may be a situation where when I'm sitting down to play Betrayal at Krondor, I'm like, I'd rather play Dragon Quest VI, kind of thing. Obviously not every game is going to be as fun and as exciting as any other game. But right now, I'm having a blast with all three of them, so that is always a nice thing to have. I don't anticipate the Crusader Kings 2 White Huns of Britain campaign wrapping up anytime soon either. That's, half a world conquest campaign to a great extent, so that's it's very likely to be going for a long time. And Betrayal at Krondor, the later chapters, I believe, tend to go faster, in large part because you don't have anywhere near the exploration availability as earlier chapters, but there's still, I think, half the chapters of the game left, so I think that game's going to go for a little bit while longer yet. The Dragon Quest Builders 2 videos are going to be going up for a long time on channel as well. I'm still significantly behind compared to where the streams are. I will probably be ending the streams this month, though, and replacing it with something else. I just feel it's time. I can't just constantly play that game. Kind of need to play something else. Haven't decided exactly what yet. I'm thinking that it will be a PlayStation 4 game. That's my idea right now. It's kind of what I'm looking at. So we'll see what what comes. I may still do some interspersed Dragon Quest Builders 2 streams just for fun. We'll see how it goes. And it'll be based in large part on what viewers want. Dragon Quest VI, based on the previous games, that's probably going to 60, 70 episodes at least as well. What I'm really hoping is that will wrap up like right after Final Fantasy VII, the remake, comes out, because that's the next Final Fantasy game that I have to play, and it did get delayed until April, I think, so it may not work out, but we'll see. It makes it more likely that there will be only a little overlap or no overlap at all. I don't know what I'll do if there's no overlap, though. Maybe find something really short and fun to play. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't usually announce games in advance, but that is something that I will announce. When that comes out, I will be having a Let's Play of it, and my goal will be to get the video up that day. A lot of it's going to depend on, what happens with, the recording testing and stuff like that. Sometimes it takes longer, but my goal is definitely to start at day of release, kind of thing. And that will go through until that's done. I believe it's more of an episodic game than just a full game remake, so I think that it'll be my understanding, and I may be wrong, is that the Final Fantasy VII coming out will be essentially the first disc of the original Final Fantasy VII. So I will definitely wait until, I'll definitely be doing the other stuff as they come out, but that will cover my Final Fantasy VII for my run of Final Fantasy games. I'm certainly not saying that I will never go back to play the original Final Fantasy VII. I may do that. There's going to be differences in dialogue. There's definitely differences in gameplay. And there will be differences in my commentary based on what my thoughts are. I don't like the original Final Fantasy VII. It's one of my least favorite games. Which is not to say that I won't enjoy myself playing it, recording it, because I tend to make myself have fun. Like, I mean, just doing the recordings is fun for me, even if I'm playing a game I don't particularly like, as long as I'm not getting frustrated by it. Like, playing a game that I'm just horrible at and cannot succeed, that I don't find fun. But RPGs I don't usually have that problem with, so I can just, turn it into fun, even though I don't like the game. There's a difference between not liking a game and playing a bad game kind of thing. Bad games where the game is just poorly composed, poorly written, poorly designed sort of thing, where, it's just buggy and stuff like that. So there's a big difference in how I treat it. And I've heard from people that one of the draws is that, like, I don't get angry about things not going my way in a lot of games. Like Crusader Kings 2. People have told me that one of the things that they, that really drew them to my Crusader Kings 2 campaigns was when my character dies, I don't go off on a rage-filled curse fit kind of thing. So it's just like, nope, on to the next character kind of thing. So, it's always nice to hear that kind of thing and try it. So, other than that, Dokopon Kingdom over on MysteriousJG's channel, playing with him and Zerfall. That's still ongoing. We had a big break just because things didn't work out for recording, and we've actually really caught up to where the recording is. So the stuff going live now is not really going to be that far off from what we've recorded going forward. And we'll have less of a cushion. It's always unfortunate when that happens, when you get this big cushion and you're thinking, oh yeah, we're good, we're just going to keep skating through, there'll be a point when we're done, and the stuff is just going to keep going live, and don't have to worry about it, just check the comments and everything like that, and then a big thing happens and you catch up to where you were recorded, and then it's like, we definitely need to get some stuff recorded now to stay on schedule. But yeah, it's just holidays and sickness, and I mean, it's all things go hand in hand that just conspired to make it a bit more difficult to get together. And it's 3 people with other things going on that always happens too. But it's been a blast to play. I have no idea how long the game actually lasts. I'm not, like, we've been kind of at a point where we haven't been able to advance it too much lately, the quote-unquote story of the game. But I have a plan to advance it soon, so we'll see how that goes. Other than that, got the Crusader Kings 2 MS BikeRide 2019 Donor Reward campaign for Zerfall's MS BikeRide charity stream that he did last year. That was a lot of fun to play. I have finished the recording of it. It was only intended to go one full generation and then switch over to Observer mode. And that has happened now. The final episode is going live tomorrow. Didn't go all the way to the end of time, just basically went 100 years to see what kinds of things would happen. And it will go out with a bit of a bang, shall we say. Keep an eye out for that tomorrow. It's definitely some fun stuff happening in that. But I will definitely be thinking about that for next year, or this year, really, because it was fun to play, it was fun to make, kind of, and it was by far my favorite thing was just seeing the other donors, come into the comment section and be like, "Virtual me, why are you doing these stupid things?" Because the Crusader Kings 2 AI can be a little bit wonky. There are definitely things that I will be looking at changing if I do this again for this year, as to how can I try to make the AIs do more of what the donors want them to, kind of thing. So I will definitely be thinking about that. And, of course, the final active thing is Spelljammer, which I'm doing this update after the Spelljammer game on Saturday. Hop by Twitch on Saturdays to check out the sessions. They're always fun. I always have a blast, and the players do too. And I'm having fun with this adventure. I think the players are as well. It's a very odd adventure in some respects. I'm having a fun creating very different scenarios and situations for them for it to like swing from one strange scenario into another strange scenario kind of thing. And from that point of view, I think it's been a lot of fun for me. Speaking of the streams, right now the schedule is Monday, Dragon Quest Builders 2. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I will, of course, have all this information in the video description. Right now, most Fridays at around noon to 2, I'm streaming some Crusader Kings 2. I'm doing the Monarch's Journeys. These are this bi-weekly thing that... is it bi-weekly? Every 2 weeks. Paradox is putting out on Crusader Kings 2 that has some like mini achievements that you do with a specific character, either in their lifetime or with their dynasty, to unlock stuff for the upcoming eventual Crusader Kings 3. It just seemed like a fun little thing that I could do, generally each week to, for some more stream content. I'm not putting them up here on YouTube, at least not yet. I don't know if I will. Haven't decided that. But all of them are stored over on Twitch if you want to go over and check those out. I've skipped a couple weeks occasionally when it's like I don't think that I can really do the goals in a 2-week period. I mean, a 2-hour period, and it's just like wasn't really having fun with that character or something like that. Especially, like, there was a new one last week, and the Friday before that I skipped because it was like, build a bunch of great works with this character that makes no money, or their dynasty, and get this amount of land with very difficult war declarations situations. I was not having a lot of fun with that one. It was... It looked like it was going to be pretty good, but the starting position of that character was, in my opinion, really bad for those goals. There was not a clear path to getting them very easily, and that kind of made it less fun to think about and play. So, I mean, you started out as a tributary to 2 people, which should not be possible. One of whom was your liege, your actual ruler. Which, again, should not be possible. I think that they screwed up the history files for that point a bit. The later start points on Crusader Kings 2 definitely needed a lot of love at this point. I mean, it's not going to get it now, but... because they made some map changes, and if you start at a certain date, I think Venice will have a trade post in a county that used to have coastline, but now does not. So it makes no money. I think maybe if it's connected, it might help, but it's it's like it's an artifact and it never got fixed. So I don't expect them to do it now, but definitely I feel like some of the later start points needed some love. Oh well. Crusader Kings 3 is coming eventually. No line on when that will be. If past experience is anything to go by, I will get the game early, and I will have a series up when that happens, and I am looking forward to it. I am hoping that it will be a lot of fun. That's mostly it with the channel. Of course, if you want to head over to Twitch and watch the stuff, I've got the link here on the channel page up here in the upper right, along with links to Discord, Twitter, Patreon, my Dungeons and Dragons, my AD&D blog. All of those there. Of course, all that stuff is in the video descriptions as well. Check out any of the Spelljammer videos, any of the Dragon Quest Builders 2 footage. Those will have links in there as well. And of course, the Discord links, Patreon links, everything is throughout the video descriptions. Do check those out. There is good information in, at least for the recent videos. I really do need to go back to some of the old videos, like Pool of Radiance. I believe it still has like a single sentence, and that is the only thing there. I need to go in and put links to playlists and links to Patreon and stuff like that, but that's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff that you need to do to get all of those updated. Of course, I also need to do thumbnails on all these. When you decide to make a change on how your videos are presented years after you've started, it's a lot of work to go back and fix it all. I actually have thumbnails for all of my Tactics Ogre stuff. I have them all made up. I just need to go into each and every video to upload it, and every time I think I should go in and upload thumbnails for each and every one of those videos, I remember that I have to go into the video details for each and every one of those videos to upload them, and I'm like, maybe tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes. So anyway, if you're relatively new to the channel, I do have these categorized groupings of playlists. I have them sorted out generally so that games are ordered, like Quest for Glory 1 and Quest for Glory 2 and Quest for Glory 3, that sort of thing. So rather than going to the main playlist page itself and checking out the created playlists, like if you go into that. Stop showing me that. I hate that they've made this change to YouTube where this thing will always pop out. I don't care about that. There's a reason I hide that. I don't need that information. It's worthless to me. I just save everything in tabs. But yeah, so generally playlists on the created playlists group are based on when they were updated. So you can see updated yesterday, updated 2 days ago, 4 days ago, 4 days ago, 6 days ago, 6 days ago, 6 days ago. And then these that were updated a little bit more than that don't say anything. But it's generally in order of when they were last updated, so it's a jumbled mess. I have created groupings so that there's console RPGs, adventure games, Gold Box and other AD&D games, Ultima and other PC RPGs, strategy and simulation games, and then the Dungeons and Dragons actual play session playlists, where if you want to see what I have done, they are categorized. Of course, it's still just a block of pictures, which can be a little bit of a pain to navigate. I get that. So in response to that, I have a... Let's go ahead and open up a new tab. I have a somewhat out-of-date, a few months out-of-date at this point, text listing with headings and stuff like that. So if there's any, if you want to see a text listing, this is a way to see what I've played. Again, it doesn't include all the recent stuff, but the recent stuff is a little bit easier to get to. This is especially useful if you're wondering whether I've played a specific game. You can come in here and just do a find and replace. I mean, a find. Has he played any Kryn game? Control F, Kryn. Boom. Yeah, Kryn series right there. So that would be another way to find anything if you want. Also on the blog, those of you who've been around for a while, of course, are familiar with the fact that I have been doing a Monster Mythology update project for Dungeons & Dragons. And the deity this month is the Great Mother of the Beholders. This is a deity that there's an interesting kind of... It's never been confirmed, but in the book Monster Mythology, DMGR4, both Great Mother and the other Beholder deity, Xemnid, are both listed as chaotic evil, whereas Beholders have always been lawful evil. I think the author of that book forgot or played them chaotic evil kind of thing or something like that, and didn't, and like no one checked. And that's why the deities of this lawful evil race are chaotic evil. But I tried to work that in. Some other material has tried to work that in as, you know, consolidate, you know, not consolidate, but make it work together in a logical fashion. That's one of the things that I was focusing on writing this this deity. But there's a lot of various beholder information that I went through while working on it, and I think it came out pretty well. It was a pretty interesting one to work on. Definitely also, in a lot of ways, getting into the deities that have very strange... Oh, that doesn't come out right. I need to go back in and look at that. Had not noticed that. Alright, well, I will fix that later. That should just be on the blog. But anyway, yeah, the deities, their priests operate well outside of the standard, so it's always fun to work on that stuff. That is primarily the newsy related stuff. If you want to support me, I've got multiple ways of doing so. What I would consider the best way is Patreon. On the channel page, I've got a link to Patreon here. I also have links to Patreon in every recent video for the last number of years. So, you know, check out my Patreon. Currently, the goal, if we reach $600 per month, I will have a new daily video that's simply, you know, nominated or voted on by patrons, maybe viewers too. There's a few ways that I may end up doing it. A lot of it may depend on, you know, what I'm going on, you know, what I want to play and stuff like that. But the fact that it'll be a daily video means that there will be a constant input, essentially, by supporters into what I play. I'll probably be doing a mix of 3 different ways where I give patrons a list of games that I'm thinking of playing and they can vote. I will take nominations that then, like, nominations from the higher tier supporters that all patrons would vote on, and nominations where patrons nominate the games, and then all the viewers on YouTube have a chance to vote on it. Perhaps a mix of that, especially earlier on as I'm feeling out what the best way of doing it is. I may try a mix of that, but for now, that's the $600 goal. And I'm hoping that we can get there, get even more content on the channel, which will definitely please some people and probably not please some others who are like, you're already putting up too much for me to watch. But all the stuff is going to stay there for perpetuity, you know, unless, of course, Google decides to kill YouTube. Who knows? Yeah, right. And it's all free to watch, so, you know, this is our next goal, if we can get there. Patreon does tend to be the best way to support me in terms of, in a lot of ways, I get a very high percentage of the support out of that, and the services that Patreon gives, I think, is pretty good. So it really is my preferred. If someone were to come to me and say, I can do any of these ways, which one is best for you, that's what I'll say. Now, the caveat to that is that, you know, this is you showing me support. You can do whichever way works best for you. You know, I mean, if it genuinely doesn't matter to you, you know, you're perfectly fine with any of these, Patreon is the best. If Patreon doesn't work for you, there are a couple other ways. I have a Ko-fi page as well. If you want to buy me a ham... ham. I don't actually have any ham right now, and it's very disappointing. So, you know, if you wanna buy me a ham, you can go ahead and do so. You can also put in silly messages. A few people do tend to do that, and that is always always a pleasure and enjoyable to see. And if you have an Amazon Prime account or you just want to support me on Twitch, you can do that with an Amazon Prime. You can connect it to Twitch and get Twitch Prime, and that allows you to subscribe to a Twitch channel for free once per month, which is a pretty good deal because that gets the streamer $250 roughly, and no extra sweat off your back other than connecting your accounts up and whatever you're already paying on Amazon Prime. Yeah, if you got it, might as well use it, right? Obviously, I would love it if you support me with Twitch Prime, but if if there's other people that you enjoy more, and this is something you weren't aware of, and now you support, you go in and do that, hey, that's your choice. You support who you can, when you can, that kind of thing. And I just think it's fantastic that anyone would support me in any of these ways. I've been doing this for close to 9 years now, I think. I started in 2011, and just the fact that anyone's willing to support me, and some of you guys have been supporting me since the second I were close to it. I set up these methods. That's pretty fantastic. I really appreciate it. That's what those names slowly ticking by down below on these videos are. Those are all of my patrons on Patreon. You guys are fantastic, showing me that level of support all the time. Regardless of what the amount is, I don't care. It's like, you do what you can do. Any amount is precious to me, so to speak. It's a pretty fantastic thing, just knowing that I'm putting all this stuff out there and people enjoy it enough that they're willing to throw me a few bucks. It really does mean a lot to me. And that's why your names are ticking by down below. These are the champions of the channel, so to speak. On Discord, they are the Golden Horde. They are my precious Golden Horde. That's HOARD, not HORDE. They are my personal valuables. I own you all now. No, I'm kidding. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys are willing to support me. And I would do something fancier to show my appreciation, like fancy end cards or something like that. Except I honestly have no idea how to do any of that, and I don't even know where to start. So it's like it's literally the best I can do. I would do more if I could, in terms of like showing your names off and stuff like that. But I really do appreciate it. I really do thank you guys for the support. It is tremendous. And for those who are considering it, even $1 goes a huge way. It's $12 a year. It's a couple meals at a fast food restaurant, or a couple Starbucks coffees, or half a meal at a more fancy restaurant or something like that, and it goes a really long way. If a dozen people do that, individually that's only $1 a month. Together that's $12. May not seem like much, but that cumulatively, it really does mean a lot. It does go a long way to allowing me to do the amount that I'm doing on the channel. I have been for a number of months very much on the knife edge of being able to sustain myself. I'm essentially at a point where it's like every month I have to evaluate whether this is sustainable for another month, which does mean that I do not have any wiggle room for catastrophes. If my recording computer crashes right now and is unrecoverable, there's no more stuff until I change how I'm doing and get enough money to buy a computer. I can't even save enough to fix it at this point. So um, it really is important for the channel's future to get this support, and I appreciate everyone who has been supporting me. It really does mean a lot to me. So I wanna thank you all for everything that you've been doing. As a final note, I do want to mention that in the United States, we are in an election year. Please, if you're not registered to vote, do so. Vote. This is something that I have been passionate about. I feel that everyone should vote. And there's a lot of places that try to make it difficult to vote, and there's a reason for that. When it's difficult to vote, it makes it a lot easier for people whose ideas are not popular, not the popular ideas, to get their way. If everyone votes, it is a lot harder for unpopular things to happen. It really is. So please, if you're in the United States or any country that has elections, do register to vote. Do whatever it is that you need to do to be eligible to vote. I only know the United States. I don't know how it works in other countries, but I'm sure there are, some things that you have to do in some of these countries. But in the United States, this is an important year. Please, please, please do register to vote. I would also recommend getting involved in one of the two primary parties. There's the way our system works. I want it changed, but it doesn't work. You can't change it from outside. You really can't. It has to be changed from within. Register for one of the two parties. Vote in the primaries. Make your voice heard on how you want the party that most closely fits your point of view. If one of the parties more closely fits your view than the other one, but you still don't like the direction that they're going, register to vote in that party. Make your voice heard in the primaries, and then once the general election comes around, then make your reevaluate on the candidates that got through the primaries. That's the way it works, and this is a very important year in the United States for making our voices heard. I've voted in every election that I've been eligible to do so, and I plan to vote in every election that I can until the day I die. I want to encourage especially those who are younger than me, because they're the groups that tend to not vote, and as far as I know, that's pretty much across the board in every country. Younger people don't vote as much. If you are, only a few years out of high school, a few years out of college kind of thing, you haven't voted in every election up till now, please, please, please do change that. I've seen some numbers that this election in the United States may get up to 70% turnout, which is tremendous. That has not happened in my lifetime, and I'm older than most of you. I can see the numbers on the analytics. I'm older than most of you. Not all of you, but most of you. And a 70% turnout in a presidential election, it's always lower in the off year, and that's a shame too. That's a topic for another day. But a 70% turnout in this election would be like the first time since the 30s or the 20s, I think I saw. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's been an extremely long time, like almost a century since we've gotten numbers that high. I suppose maybe it was the 40s or 50s that I saw, but I think it was even earlier than that. And that is done by young people going out and voting. If you're a young person and you feel like your voice doesn't mean anything, your voice is not heard, and you're not voting, that's why. If all the young people vote, they genuinely do have the power to change things. If everyone votes, things can really get changed really quickly, too. So please, it's something that I've always been passionate about, but I don't talk about a lot all the time. I mean, I'm playing games here. I'm not talking about politics. So, and I'm not advocating who you should vote for. While I do care from a point of view of my personal ideological goals, the more important thing is that everyone vote. If everyone votes, it is difficult to say that the person who gets elected doesn't have the mandate of the people kind of thing. You know, because if someone gets elected and yet 40% of the people stay at home, it's entirely possible that that 40% could have swung the vote the other way if they had just voted. So that's why I really want to say, you know, get out and vote. Make sure you're registered. I think I saw that Texas, the registration deadline, that might be for primaries. It might be for general. I'm not sure. I just saw deadline to vote, registered to vote in Texas is Monday, which would be the 3rd. So if you're in Texas, check to make sure you're registered. Register to vote. If you're in any of the other states in the United States, check to make sure you're registered. Register to vote if you're not, and do vote. It's alternate, like, on the one hand, one of the easiest things you can do for the country. In many places, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of your day. Now, yeah, there are places where people in power are intentionally making it get up to hours. But that's also why it's important to vote. Because if you vote, then your voice can be heard, and that can be changed, and it can be easy to vote for your region. So if you get in line, do not get out of that line. If you're in line, they have to let you vote. So always remember that. But it is just so crucial. We've been, like, in my lifetime, just I keep looking at the turnout numbers and like wanting to shout at the heavens, why are you all not voting? It is one of the easiest things that you can do to change what's going on, and also one of the most important. So I want to really emphasize that, and we're in a year when it is so important, especially with so many crises on the horizon that we're facing. It is so much more important to get everyone's voice heard and, you know, actually try to get things done by the will of the people. That's the whole point of democracy. So that's my spiel. I expect to hear it more often as we get closer, especially to November. Like I said, I'm not advocating who you vote for. If you know that you are voting for someone that does not fit my ideological point of view because you've guessed that or I've said it or something like that, I don't care. I want you to vote too. If my point of view is the more convincing one, I shouldn't have a problem. If my point of view isn't the more convincing one, then I need to do more. And I use I as in my ideological point of view. That's my argument for everyone voting. I want every single person eligible to vote. So please do so. Whatever country you're in, always vote, especially if you're young, because young people don't do it anywhere near enough. Anyway, that is the February update. I will talk to you more in the comment section on Discord and streams. I look forward to you guys enjoying more videos this month. See you next time, everyone.